The dress didn't feel like mine. It clung to me like it belonged to someone else, someone I didn't even recognize. It was beautiful, smooth satin, delicate lace, the kind of dress most women would feel proud to wear. But not me. Not me. It felt like a costume, a mask, something carefully chosen by my mother, not because she thought I would like it, but because it matched the image she wanted me to project. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, my stomach twisting. The girl looking back at me didn't look free. She looked trapped. I realized as I tugged at the hem with shaky fingers that this wasn't just about the dress. It was about my life, about the way I had been molded, pressed, and forced into a version of myself that fit their world, not mine. When I walked into the dining room, the air itself felt heavy, too polished, too perfect. The marble floors gleamed so brightly they almost hurt my eyes. The endless glass tables stretched in front of me, set with silverware so new that the store stickers still clung to the undersides. Everything looked flawless, but it felt hollow, like a stage set for a family that only pretended to exist. My brother's voice cut through the silence, confident and loud. He talked about his newest deals, his recent triumphs, his business conquests. Every word was coated with pride, and every pause was filled with his smirk, waiting for applause. My mother sat across from him, leaning in as though every word he spoke was gospel. Her eyes shone with admiration, and laughter spilled easily from her lips, sharp and rehearsed. My father, as always, was only half there, a quiet shadow nodding, agreeing, blending into the background as though he was afraid of existing too loudly. I sat near the edge of the table, my hands folded in my lap. My plate sat untouched, the food in front of me already cold. The conversations flowed like a river, but I wasn't allowed in. I wasn't even acknowledged. For a moment I dared to speak, my voice soft, almost a whisper, but my mother's glance silenced me instantly. Sit straighter, smile properly, she ordered in a tone that was sharper than the knives on the table. It wasn't guidance, it wasn't love. It was command, the same command I had been living under my entire life. So I did what I had always done. I obeyed. Their laughter filled the room again, piercing and cold. It didn't feel like family laughter, it felt like glass shattering inside me. And in that moment, I realized I wasn't a daughter here. I wasn't a sister. I wasn't even a person. I was an accessory, a placeholder. Someone they tolerated because they had to. And then it happened. The words that would burn into my memory forever. My brother leaned back in his chair, his eyes sliding to me with a glimmer of cruel amusement. His tone was casual, almost playful, but the words carried poison. Honestly, he said, smirking, she's just the maid here. The room went still. For one breath, it was silent. And then my mother laughed. A short, sharp laugh that felt like betrayal in its purest form. My father said nothing, his silence as loud as thunder. I froze. My chest tightened, my hands trembled beneath the table, and the food on my plate blurred through the sting of unshed tears. The words echoed in my head again and again. Just the maid. Just the maid. Something shattered inside me that night. Lying. In my bed, hours later, the house finally quiet. The darkness pressed down on me, heavy and suffocating. The words wouldn't stop. They circled in my head like vultures, reminding me of every other time I had been dismissed, ignored, erased. I thought of all the birthdays they had forgotten, the times they left me behind, choosing to celebrate my brother instead. The dreams I had whispered as a child that were laughed at, brushed away as silly. The nights I cried into my pillow while the rest of them sat downstairs laughing, drinking. Living in a world where I was invisible, every memory became sharper now, cutting deeper, reminding me of a truth I had been too afraid to face. They had never really seen me, not as a daughter, not as family, not even as a person worth loving. Tears streamed down my face, soaking the sheets, but beneath the pain, something else was stirring. It's a quiet, steady pulse I had never truly felt before. Resolve. I couldn't stay here. Not anymore. If I did, I would vanish completely. They would erase me piece by piece, till there was nothing left but the empty shell of the daughter they wanted by sunrise. The decision was clear. I rose quietly, pulling a suitcase from under my bed. My hands shook as I folded clothes in two. It not from fear, but from the weight of what I was finally about to do. For once, this wasn't about them. It was about me. As I stepped into the hallway, my mother caught sight of me. Her eyes narrowed, her voice cold. "Where do you think you're going?" For the first time in my life, I didn't flinch. I didn't bow my head. I met her gaze, steady and unafraid. "Somewhere I can finally be myself." Her lips tightened. My brother smirked from behind her, smug and certain I'd be back. My father said nothing, like always. But their reactions didn't matter anymore. I walked past them, out the door, into the morning air that felt fresher than any air I'd ever breathed. Each step down the driveway was like peeling away chains. Each breath filled me with a freedom I had only dreamed of. For the first time, the world felt open, endless, alive. They had called me just the maid. But I knew the truth now. I was stronger than all of them combined. And walking away wasn't the end. It was the beginning of the life I was meant to live.